Have you ever wondered how your favourite guitarist gets so much mileage out of the simple pentatonic scale? I thought the same thing when I returned to playing the guitar a few months ago, and the answer is surprisingly simple. So in this video I'm going to show you how to use easy to play double stops to make your solos sound more professional. Now you might be asking, what is a double stop? Well, it's just when you play two notes at the same time. Typically these are two notes from a scale played on strings that are next to each other. They can add life and interest to rhythm and lead playing. You'll hear them across all genres of music, particularly rock and blues. They also formed a large part of the signature sound of Jimi Hendrix. So now you know what double stops are, how do you find them? Well, this is where the pentatonic scale comes in. The way in which the scale is split into boxes, with two notes per string, makes it really easy to visualize double stop locations. If you're new to the pentatonic scale, or you need a refresher, then I'll link a full guide for you at the end of this video. If you've ever attempted some lead playing, I'm sure you will have come across this pentatonic shape. This was A minor pentatonic box 1. It's what most people associate with the pentatonic scale, and it is used in countless solos. You can see the notes for this on screen. Now what we're going to do is extract the double stops from this shape. You want to be accurate with this, so try and mute strings you're not playing and keep an eye on your picking hand to make sure you're only playing the two strings you need for each double stop. Let's start on the highest strings with two simple double stops. These double stops are what I like to call the mini bar. Cheers! Unfortunately, we're not hitting the bottle just yet, but the mini bar does what it says on the tin. You lay a single finger down across two strings next to each other to create the smallest possible bar. You might have tried this before. They are the simplest double stops that you can play. You'll find them in many positions. I think the easiest to play is here on the high strings, because you can just mute the G string above with the tip of your finger to produce clean sounding double stops. Practice playing these with just your index finger and then your index and pinky without shifting position. This might be tricky at first, but over time it will help to develop your finger independence. Most people think they've mastered double stops with the mini bar, but that's exactly why they never improve their solos. If we move down to the G and B strings in this A minor pentatonic box 1, then you'll learn why. The first of these is another mini bar, but the second one is something new. I call it the two-finger double. There are several spots in the pentatonic scale where notes on adjacent strings are not on the same fret. This staggered shape means in order to cleanly play both notes, you need to use two fingers. This can often catch people out. So as with all of these, practice getting this clean with slow and deliberate practice. Another thing to note now is we have strings below and above our double stops that you don't want to hear. You want to combine being accurate with your picking hand with some muting using your fretting hand in order to stop the other strings from sounding. This will take time and practice, but you'll get there, so stick with it. Okay, now on to the heart of pentatonic box 1. Here I played 4 double stops using the A, D and G strings. All of them were mini bars. You can get a lot of mileage from this core of pentatonic box 1, and you'll find a lot of players hang out here because it's easy to play and it gives you lots of musical options. Let's finish up box 1 by looking at the low E and A strings. I ended here because you're less likely to play double stops on lower strings, but they're still worth learning and practicing in order to become a more complete guitar player. The first double stop was yet another mini bar, but the second was interesting. It was a two-finger double in reverse. At least I find it easier to play with switched fingers compared to the previous two-finger double, but it's up to you how you want to finger this. It's a bit of a muddy sounding double stop, so it probably has limited use in real-world playing. So that's box 1 pentatonic double stops complete. Once you can play them individually, I recommend practicing up and down the scale like this until you can play them clean. A lot of players will stop here and get stuck in a box 1 rut, but the secret to fixing your solos is to keep going into the remaining pentatonic shapes. For example, here's how A minor pentatonic box 2 would look. The first thing you might have noticed is there were a lot more 2-finger doubles in this shape. This can make it a bit more awkward, but you also have a continuation of the mini bars up high on the E and B strings. As you work on subsequent boxes, you'll find that these double stops often run in shapes like this. For example, there's a nice pair of doubles on the G and B strings here. Once you can play pentatonic box 2, then I recommend practicing these regularly in all pentatonic boxes until they are under your fingers. You won't need to know any new shapes, just look at each box, decide if you need to use a mini bar or a 2-finger double, and work your way through the string pairs. As before, once you can play them individually, then practice the whole box using only double stops. Speed is your enemy here. You want to take it slow and deliberately. Once you're comfortable with double stops in a box, then it's time for the fun stuff. You can start to incorporate them into your solos. You can mix them up with individual notes, bends and slides in order to give your playing a harmonic edge. Here's an example of me doing this, mixing solo ideas from A minor pentatonic boxes 1 and 2 with some of the double stops that we've seen. Now that you've seen how adding simple double stops can instantly make your pentatonic solos sound more professional, the real breakthrough comes when you're no longer stuck in just one box shape. Because most players think they know the pentatonic scale, but they're unknowingly trapping themselves in the exact limitation that is holding their solos back. So watch this next video where I'll show you the 6 steps to relearn the pentatonic scale across the entire neck, so you can finally break out of box 1 and play more expressive and fluid solos.